Thank you guys for joining me. I hope everybody's having a good week. Hope everyone had a decent weekend. Hey, Chris, I'm here. Hi, Shaquitha. Thanks for coming. Can you not see me or hear me? Hello? Can everyone see me and hear me? I've literally been talking for like 20 seconds. I don't know if it registered. Can you guys hear me? You see me? We're all good? Oh. So today we're going to talk about some things. I'm going to talk about the earthquake that happened in the U.S. Happened on the East Coast, right where I grew up. So that's weird. Hi, Chris. Good. You guys can hear me. I'm good. Thank you. How are you? We're also so today we're going to talk about the earthquake that happened on the East Coast of America. We're also going to talk about a milestone in the for the channel that's coming up soon. And I'm going to read your comments, all the comments from my video that was really getting a lot of traction this week, why we left. So yeah, there's lots to talk about. There's lots to catch up on today. The first thing that I want to talk about, how I want to start is to let y'all know, I kind of briefly mentioned this at the end of the last stream, but to let you all know, I am officially a YouTube partner now. Yay! We haven't quite hit 1,000 subscribers just yet, but they do have an intermediate membership program where you can do things like if you send in what's called a super chat, which is you pay like a pound or two. There might be other tiers. I think there's many tiers actually, and it just goes to the channel, and you can do it highlights your comment and it just makes sure that it gets seen. You can do that. There's a little it's a dollar sign to the right of the chat. You should see that icon there if you want to do that. Also, on any videos that are already uploaded when we're not live, there is a button that says thanks. You can also send some money to the channel that way if you're so inclined. And possibly, I'm not sure about this yet, but possibly some kind of membership program where you guys get special, some kind of special content. I'm still working that out a little bit. I'm not sure if that's something that would even be something that would be successful or something anyone would want, really. But I am excited that that the channel has grown the way it's grown, especially over the last few months. It is insane. I never thought I would get 9 subscribers, and I am over 900. This is ridiculous. I never thought it. It's ridiculous to me because I just never thought it would be possible. But I'm really overjoyed about it and really excited about it. If you guys have any suggestions on how we can grow the channel more, stuff content you guys want to see, if you'd be interested in a membership program, perhaps some of the incentives that might, ask you to be a member. The thing with the membership is you pay a monthly fee for that exclusive content. I know times are tight for some people, and I know that's not really everybody's cup of tea on how they support the channel. So I know I'd have to make it worth your while. And I totally understand because I work hard for my money too, and I don't give it out freely. So yeah, that's where I am. I'm really, really excited, regardless of just how the channel is growing and just being able to do regular live streams with you guys, interact with y'all, and I'm excited that I'm making content that you guys actually are interested in. I appreciate it. So let's keep it going and keep me honest. Don't sugarcoat it. If I'm sucking or you're not liking a piece of content or a topic or something, let me know, because that's the only way I'm going to learn and how to do this. And this is something that is so brand new to me that I just kind of stumbled upon that I wanted to do. So I am learning as I go. So please, I need to know if there's something out there you guys hate. You guys are really good about telling me stuff you love. And most people, to be honest, most people tell me if there's something they don't like. As you'll hear in some of the comments when we get to that section later on in the show, you want to definitely stick around till the end when I'm reading everybody's comments on my video. A lot of people have actually told me I shouldn't be reading comments and that I should just do my thing and put it out there because it's gonna um, depress me or turn me off of doing this or something like that. But that's the whole point, in my opinion, is to interact. So whether it's interacting with a post, whether it's interacting with a live stream, or interacting with the comments, for me, I want to build a community. And if I don't interact with you guys, how does it build a community? How do we build trust? Right? I take everything in good faith and I try to take it as, with a grain of salt or as constructive criticism. And I'm sure there's plenty of mean people out there that aren't always nice. But I'm okay. I have a thick skin. I can handle it. As long as people are respectful and not, you know, just rude and obnoxious to either me or anybody else in the comment section, then I can handle it. But there are things in place that can help me monitor that and control those things. So I'm very excited, very, very excited that we're over 900 subscribers, and of course, my nose is running. And I really, really tried this time to not have to get up, but I don't have a tissue, so I have to go. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. Speaking of comments, someone very nicely pointed out that all of my live streams are I'm never ready to go, which is not really true. It's just that I don't have a permanent setup because of the way this apartment's laid out. And it's just difficult because I have to do this in the communal space, and I don't have a designated area. I sort of have a corner, but it's just not, the lighting's really bad over there and everything, and the ring light doesn't work right, and it's just, you guys saw the last live stream, you'll see the ring light's like a tobacco right now. I definitely have to work this out. But for now, this is going to have to be what it's going to have to be. But anyways, I am very excited about where the channel is going, where it is right now, and hopefully we can come to some mutual understanding about how we can move forward, and something that's going to, help us grow and help us just become stronger as a community. That's really what I would love. And I really appreciate all your support up until this point and hope it continues. Please forgive me because I'm going to try to pronounce your name, but I'm not 100% sure. Muhangi Philemon, is that right? Please let me know if that was right or not. Hello, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. It's Bex for the Achievable Bodies Online, I believe, right? Yes, I believe that is. And Malcolm and Tanya. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Malcolm and Tanya. All good. Yes, I'm getting it. Okay, you guys. Thank you guys. You're awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks for bearing with me. Really excited. So if you have the means, but only if you have the means and only if you're, are able to spare a dollar or two. I said a dollar. If you're in the US and you can spare a dollar or two, that'd be great. If you're in the UK or anywhere else, if you're in the UK, you can spare a pound or two. You can, hit that thanks button in any of the previous videos, or hit that um, dollar sign button in the chat now while we're live. That would help. We're trying to just grow the channel a little bit. I need some help. But if you can't, totally don't. It's totally fine. I appreciate you joining me for the live streams, and I appreciate you watching all the videos, and all your feedback. And that means the world to me. Thank you guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button, because there's a couple of you in the chat, or a couple of you that are watching that haven't hit that like button yet. So that helps me out as well. All those simple things help me. Thank you all so much for your help so far. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. So next, I wanted to talk about the earthquake that happened in the US this past week, because it actually happened close to where I grew up. So let me just, for those of you who don't know, this is from CNN, the Associated Press is CNN. The earthquake was the strongest in New Jersey in more than 240 years. So for those of you who aren't familiar, we don't typically get earthquakes on the East Coast. The way the fault lines are, we just don't ever really get them. They're really a West Coast thing as far as America is concerned. And so this is like pretty unprecedented. It doesn't happen that much. So I was pretty concerned when I found out, as it says in the headline, that it's more than 240 years. So let me just read this for you guys to catch you up in case you haven't heard any of this. The rare 4.8 earthquake that struck northern New Jersey Friday was the third strongest to strike the state, according to CNN analysis of U.S. Geological Survey data. The Friday morning earthquake also marked the strongest since 1783. Two 5.1 magnitude tremblers are the only stronger quakes in the state. One is 1755 and another in 1783. Both happened before New Jersey became a state in 1787. This quake is the third strongest to hit the Northeast in 50 years and the 10th strongest of all time, according to USGS data. Earthquakes in New Jersey in the region are rare, and there have only been 24 that have been 2.5 magnitude or greater since 1700. And the epicenter of the earthquake was just outside of Newark, New Jersey, which is sort of in the, I can pull this up. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. The lighting. The lighting. So this is where Newark, New Jersey is, which is where an airport is. A lot of people going to New York will fly into that airport. I grew up just south of that, probably like 20 minutes drive south of that. So that was a little bit scary, and it was felt in Pennsylvania, it was felt in New York, it was felt in parts of Northeast, other parts of Northeast like Vermont, Massachusetts. It was also felt in like DC and parts of Virginia. So it was a little bit scary finding that out, being all the way over here. Plus, I was at work and I couldn't really get in touch with anybody right away, so that made me a little bit nervous. But thankfully, all of my loved ones were okay. There was no injuries or fatalities or anything like that, which is also very, very, very good news. And like I said, thankfully, everybody that we know was safe and okay. But it was a little bit scary, just because, not because of the magnitude, but I've never actually been in an earthquake, but I know people who have, and they've described it as all of a sudden just you can feel like the earth underneath you shaking, and it's just a very unique experience, I would presume. So um, hopefully it'll be rare in the future. It'll be another 200 and some years before it happens again. But yeah, some people I know slept through it, and then some other people I know were literally, doing whatever and could feel the whole house shaking and all that kind of stuff. Um, but as I said, everybody was safe. Everybody's good. Um, so it worked out. That's good. But I did want to mention it just because it's so rare and it happened really close to where I grew up and where my family and friends are. Some of my family and friends, and so I definitely wanted to shout shout out. Jesus, I don't know how to say that. Shout out to them. Definitely wanted to shout out to them. I guess that's how I wanted to say it. But I also thought it was kind of ironic because we officially have been here a year. Um, excuse me, as of last month, the middle of last month, and there has been an active shooter in the area where we lived, and an earthquake where I grew up that was felt where we lived, just outside of Philadelphia, and all in within a couple weeks. We had been in England a year. It's just strange how things work out. Um, Obviously, that kind of stuff is not like had nothing to do with us personally. I'm not that arrogant, but it just was very ironic, the timing and everything. Anyways, I was watching a live stream on a football channel when it happened. Really, yeah, I could imagine. Greek X Stitcher, hello. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I'm outside of Philly and we felt it really hard. Did you? Do you mind if I ask what county outside of Philly? Just because we lived there too, and I'm just curious if it was like in the area that we were in. Um, because some of the people I talked to, like some of our old neighbors and stuff, um, did say that they felt like they did feel some shaking and stuff like that too. It sounded like a plane crash. Holy shit. That's fucking scary. Yes, yes, I lived in Bucks County. Is that where you lived? Did you live in anywhere near there? Do I ever think I'll go back to America? That's a loaded question, Malcolm. Um, I don't know. Honestly, never thought I would leave America. So I never say never anymore. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, hopefully y'all have such a good life here that I won't want to leave ever again. I mean, that's the plan. Um, but I'm extremely grateful to have had the opportunity to live in America. That was my home. And obviously, as long as it was safe for us, I would. But at the moment, it isn't. So, Montgomery Elkins Park sounded like a plane crashing. My monitors, but the sound, yeah, geez, I can imagine. Now I'm like even more glad that I didn't experience it because that would have really scared the hell out of me. Oh my gosh, Malcolm, thank you so much for the super chat. That's so generous of you. Thank you. Oh, my first super chat. Yay! Yay! Thank you. Special shout out to Malcolm and Tanya. I appreciate that so much. Um, is everybody Malcolm? Excuse me. Sorry, Greek X Stitcher. Is everybody okay in your family? Like all your loved ones and everyone, are they good? I assume they are because I know there wasn't any major injuries or fatalities, but just double checking you. You are good where you are. Stay there. We're going to be emigrating back home. My parents came here for a better life. Now we are thinking of leaving for safety reasons. But I love America. Very sad. Yeah, I hear you, Greek. Um, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the stream. I'm going to read some comments about one of my videos. Actually, we can talk about that now. It's a good segue. So one of the first videos that I did upload was probably my fourth or fifth one, was about why we left America. I thought it was important to talk about it really early in our journey here because it was fresh and it was raw, and I didn't want to lose any of that, the emotion tied to the reasons why we left. Basically, I mean, you can watch a video, and when I post this, I'll leave a link for that video in the description box. But basically, it comes down to guns and healthcare. And for those of you who haven't watched it, we had gone through unexpected death and a very long illness in our family, in addition to my daughter's school being locked down twice. One because of an irate parent and they weren't sure if they had a weapon, and another because there's an active shooter in the neighborhood. And those just became the straws that broke our back, right? There's a whole lot of stuff leading up to it. And I feel really privileged that I had an opportunity to leave, that we had a place to go, because there's a lot of people in America that don't. There's a bunch of people that don't understand the gun culture in America, which I understand because it's very unique to America. Oh, thank you, Bex. Appreciate it. Oh, another super chat. Yay! I'll be able to buy myself a coffee in the morning. Thank you. Hey, Sam K, how are you? Thanks for joining us. So I uploaded that video about why we left about 9 or 10 months ago, and I wanted to talk about it. It recently, in the last month or so, has just blown up. There's people that are, I got like 26,000 views on it in the last month or so. But there's a lot of comments about it and some questions and things like that. And it's a really difficult topic to talk about. So I thought it would be a good way to kind of start a conversation and maybe let people know firsthand what it's really like in America, and also just answer some questions about it out there, because I know there's a lot, because it is hard to understand if you've never lived there. So if you will indulge me, and then feel free to comment, send in your own questions or any of that kind of stuff too. I'm happy to answer anything, and also, just open a discussion, your reactions, etc. And it's not just about the gun culture; it's also about the healthcare culture in America. So, which is also a world of its own. Okay, so Dog with Wigwam Z. That's an interesting handle. He wrote, I drive and listen to a radio, show, phone in most days of the week. One of its presenters often talks about the cost of NHS per week, which he quotes as £3 BN. I'm not sure what the BN stands for, per week. This raised some interest in me enough to find out the cost of the NHS. In the financial year 2022-2023, the cost of the NHS was a little over 180, I think that's $1 trillion, million, billion, $1 trillion. This boils down to about 18 million per day, 750,000 pounds per hour, 12,500 pounds per minute, 200 pounds per second. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, that's costly, but it's subsidized by the government, so all that cost doesn't fall onto the residents, doesn't fall onto the citizens, which is not the case in America. Unless you're a congressperson, they get free healthcare that we pay for, that the American citizens' tax dollars pay for. We have to pay out the ass just to go see the doctor for a cold, but they get free healthcare. But they're denying us any free healthcare. Um, in 1970, Jack the Baseman One said, in 1977, I spent almost a year living in Chicago with the option to move family over if I wanted. I'd always thought America was a land of opportunity. However, I soon realized that USA was the land of haves and have-nots. Added that I had injuries from a childhood accident that I was concerned might come back, and it did. Making serious inquiries, it soon became clear that because the injuries were caused when I was a toddler, they would be treated as historic or pre-existing, is what the term they usually use in the American medical system. And therefore, no insurance companies would cover me. I declined the opportunity to emigrate. Back home, as indeed my childhood injuries began to cause joint deterioration, I have had my pelvis rebuilt, my new left hip, geez, whew, spinal procedure, and the total cost to me was £0. In addition, I fell off a ladder whilst decorating, had a detached retina. Speedily repaired. My sons have all been hospitalized for broken arms, legs, one with appendicitis, one who had encephalitis following chickenpox. No doubt if we moved to America, we'd now be bankrupt and homeless. I love the NHS and the wonderful UK. First, Jack, the Baseman One, I feel really sorry for your condition, and it sounds horrific. You've been through a lot, and I'm really sorry that you've been through all of that. But I am glad that you were able to have the foresight to see that America was not the place for you to find all the resources to help you live a good life. And I'm glad that you see it positively. Thank you for sharing your story. Stephen Campbell 6294 says, the USA, they still think it's the greatest country in the world, but they are the only ones. Nobody else does. I just have to play devil's advocate for a minute on that one for my fellow Americans, because we're kind of indoctrinated into that from birth, or at least from school age. We don't get the kind of education and worldly knowledge and things like that that you get, at least here in Europe, in the UK and Europe. I learned so much more about the world, about my country, about history as an adult watching documentaries and looking into stuff myself than I ever learned in school. A lot of the stuff I learned in school was either, I don't want to say it was a lie, but it was only a portion of what really happened. And it's not always it's not always the actual American's fault. So Carlton, your win 3923 says, I'm happy you're here and feel safe and have some security for the future with your health and social care. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope it works out for us. Mr. Rodigan says, your child won't be shot in school. That is the hope. Jackie Scones 5606 says, I am so sorry that you had to leave your country because it wasn't safe for your daughter and the lack of affordable health care if you got sick in your old age. It must have been heartbreaking for you. I think you were very brave and did the right thing. I hope you're very happy in the UK. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Humpty Nugget, another fun handle. I'm absolutely perplexed as to why school shootings are a thing in the US. I don't get why so many people do it. Massacring infants is the worst crime possible. How is it so common? Um, I mean, I don't have a definitive answer, but I will say that there is no national gun regulations. There's no, there are national gun regulations. Sorry, that was misleading. There are very few, and they're not very strict. And each state is allowed to make their own gun laws. And part of the reason that there isn't a very strict federal, um, mandate or restriction on guns is because there's a very, very strong gun lobby that donates a lot of money to the American government. It really is as plain as that. It's that blatant of corruption. Um, and it's just been, no one takes it seriously. It's disgusting and it's sad. And I agree with you 1,000%. These are babies, and it's just, no one takes it seriously at a federal level. We really need the federal government to step in and do something, and they won't. Bobby Goes to Pattaya said bad choice. I don't know if you really watched that video or really grasped the grasp why I made that video and what I was saying. Well, I'll try to be more clear the next time. Whippy99 said, as a fellow parent, I understand your concerns about school shootings completely. The Dunblane massacre changed gun laws in the UK within months. The NHS has saved the lives of 4 members of my family, including my own. I'm proud to be British for that alone. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you had a good experience with that. I've heard about the Dunblane massacre. I don't know a lot of details. I was thinking of doing a reaction video to it or something like that, and that's why I haven't watched it yet. But I have heard that story, and I'm absolutely baffled that we've had so many children die and injured and traumatized for the rest of their lives. And it's not necessarily the public, because the American citizens, when they're polled, definitely want stronger gun laws and regulations. But the federal government just won't do it. Louis Sapcoat says the GOP prevent Americans getting a decent pension. They always vote against people having security in old age. Yep, that's part of it. But it's not just the GOP, which is the conservative government, the conservative party in America. For those of you who don't know, it is definitely the Democrats as well, because they also get money from the gun lobbies and the healthcare lobbies and all of that. Andy YN6JL says, I wouldn't even want to visit the US if someone else paid for my trip. The US thinks its heads and shoulders so far above other countries, but how wrong it is. In so many ways, they have so much to learn. Very much so. ZZZ Pop says, no hate, but why always the UK? We are in a desperate situation, and they still come here. NHS is a major pull, even though it's on its knees, and we are full. I mean, I can't answer that at a macro level, but as a micro level, obviously for my specific unique situation, my husband and my daughter are citizens of the UK, so it made sense, and we had family here, so it made sense to come here. The one, there's an anonymous user. The thing about the USA, you can do very well if you find a niche and work hard. The good is it has no ceiling, but it also has no floor. Very, very succinct way to put it. After a few months, benefits run out and you're homeless. 2 weeks annual holiday and long-term sickness will bankrupt you. Yeah, you don't even get the 2 weeks annual holiday until you've worked there for at least like 6 months, and then you might get a week if you're lucky. It I know people who have worked at a job. They were just starting a job. They worked there for a year without having a day off, paid a paid day off, without other than weekends. And that's the way it is in America. So there are a lot of those little everyday benefits that people outside of the U.S. that don't live there don't get. Like they get where they live, but they visit the U.S. and they think, oh, it's so good here, but they don't understand that actually living there, they don't get half of the benefits that you would get in another place. There are other places, obviously, that are worse off. I'm not saying that America is awful, but there are places in America that are actually living like third world countries. Like there are at least two cities that I can think of off the top of my head that you can't even drink the water. There are people who are getting rashes and getting sick from taking showers. So, and the government, the local government, state government, and federal governments don't want to do anything about it. And these people are sick, and they have to pay all of that out of their pocket. Trink abuse, Zuck. There's a lot of letters in that name. My apologies. As a Briton living in Australia, both countries which have a public health system, I cannot express how absolutely ridiculous and heartbreaking it sounds that someone would have to sell their house if they got sick. Happens all the time. Barry R says America must be one of the worst countries on earth for ordinary people. It's not one of the worst countries on earth for ordinary people, but it's definitely really, really hard for ordinary everyday people. They do not make it easy for you at all. Marion says, yeah, as a parent myself, I have no idea how parents in the US have the courage to send their kids off to school every day, living with the fear that they might not come home again due to some nutter with a gun. I've also been in and out of hospital myself over the years as I have a couple of chronic health conditions that worsen very quickly. I need also to take regular medication. Without the NHS, we'd be homeless and bankrupt several times. Yeah, it's really it, it's really really hard because it's not only that, at least in our particular situation, it's not only that we were sending our daughter off to school every day hoping nobody showed up with a gun or got into the school with a gun or anything like that. There's an armed police officer in her school. So if something happened inside the school and there was some kind of chaos or something, there's always a chance that somebody could get hurt or shot even inside the school without someone else entering it. So it's just that's the kind of that it is very difficult. Then you counter that with trying fearing to go out in public places or where crowds are or things like that as well. I mean, there was shootings at an Independence Day parade. Somebody just got on the top of a roof, had an automatic weapon, and just started shooting people randomly, and people died. I mean, that's scary as hell. Constantly have to worry about that. It's really hard to express to people, but it's a really traumatic experience to the point where any loud bangs or any loud noises and even fireworks get me really tense. Even though I know it's not most likely not a gunshot, it still gets me extremely tense. Driver 2616, as I get older and learn more and more about the wider world, it becomes obvious that the US is not really a place where I'd like to live and raise a family. It really isn't the land of the free and the home of the brave. I've been there many, many times, East Coast, West Coast, South. It's real easy. It's an easy place to visit. It's a very interesting place with lots of interesting things for a visitor to see and do. But as countries go, it is a very backward place, and I wouldn't want to live there permanently, unfortunately. Um, that is true. David Ingram 3566 says, I get where you're coming from. I work in motorsport and I've been to the States many occasions over the years. The last time was about 6 months ago. I was there for 3 months and I've already made it clear it will be my last. I genuinely used to like it there, but the last time things seem to have gotten a lot worse. The general downturn, most notable, was drug use and inevitable violence and crime that went with it. Mm. Dave W4998 says, I'm always amazed that most Americans don't get this. They either don't believe in it or don't like it because they think it's socialist or communist measure. They think that having an NHS means they would be paying for someone else's treatment. They never think like this when it comes to having a strong military, though. Very, very strong characteristic of the US. Surely this is funded by general taxation, which is higher if you earn more and benefits equally. Is that communism? Sounds like it, doesn't it? The NHS is funded in exactly the same way. I get it. James Mason 7262 says, I'm glad you have found a safe environment to live. I personally don't have a problem with anyone moving to this country who, like you, are prepared to work and contribute to make the better place for all. You're probably not aware that firearms are available over here. At one time, I had 17 legally held firearms and still have quite a few. The difference is we are heavily vetted to ensure that we are suitable to hold them, even the shooting community police themselves. I personally would report anyone I thought would harm another person. Most violent crime in this country is committed by people who have obtained illegal firearms from abroad or are illegally carrying a knife. Be sure that the police are doing everything in their power to keep you and your family safe. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. It's not that I'm not an advocate for no one ever having a gun because I think that in America, there's lots of people that hunt. We have the space and the terrain and everything for that, and it is a popular sport for a lot of people. There's also people that collect guns, and there's a market for that as well. And there are people that use it for, shooting vermin and things like that. And there are people that think they need it for protection because there is a lot of violence in America. And there's a lot of profiling, and everything is very heightened emotionally in America. But I don't think an 18-year-old should, when the day they turn 18, shouldn't be able to go to an Asda-like store and be able to just pick up whatever weapon they want, walk out with it with as many bullets, magazines, and all that stuff that they want on their 18th birthday without being vetted, without having a license, without having any training, without having any wellness checks. I mean, it's my opinion, but that's what I think. It shouldn't be that easy. And unfortunately, in a lot of states, it is. In the Walmart where I lived, you could buy handguns over the counter. And I remember talking to the guy once, right? Someone else I think I was with was talking to them, but said basically just have to show your ID and fill out some paperwork. It's not hard. Really sad and scary. And the healthcare thing is just, again, it's a lobby money thing. There's so much money tied up in the pharmacies, the medical community, the insurance companies, the hospitals. There's a lot of private hospitals too, where they're cutting staff and care gets cut, and there's so many people that I've known that are really, really bad off, and they're really struggling because they have health problems and they can't afford to live. And I was telling someone at work the other day about it a little bit, and I told her that I had insurance, really good insurance. When I had my daughter, I paid $5,000 out of pocket in bills after I had her. And I had to go back to work in 6 weeks. Excuse me, I had to go back to work in 8 weeks. And I had to because I couldn't afford not to. That's the unfortunate reality in America for a lot of people. And we were pretty well off. Like, we were not well off. We've never been like rich or anything, but like we were comfortable enough. We knew that was coming, and we had taken the steps to save, and we knew it was going to be an expense, and we still struggled a lot. So imagine, not having that $5,000 or not having insurance, and not being able to pay your rent because you're paying medical bills. Like, it's really, really sad. I wanted to talk about that a little bit just because just so many people don't understand how extreme it actually is. So thank you for indulging me on that. Catch up with y'all. Wow, you guys are chatting tonight. Ooh, love it. Love it. To answer your question earlier, I think it was Malcolm and Tanya, right? Yeah, if I ever go back to America. I think those two things would have to change dramatically for me to consider it at this point. It could happen, but I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime, to be honest. Just call me Liz. Thank you, Liz. Yes, it was the noise. I could imagine that the noise of that earthquake, if it sounded like a plane crash, would have, like, I couldn't even. Oh my gosh, I'm like nervous for you, and it's already happened. Bex asks, "How's the driving going?" It's going okay. I'm in a little bit of a holding pattern because my lessons haven't started yet. I had some paperwork that I had to sort out, so I actually did not check. I was supposed to check yesterday to see if my provisional driving stuff got sorted out. I had some extra. I had to go through a little bit of extra like ID stuff to verify my who I was and all that. So I had to. Yesterday was the day I should have checked to see if it was set up. So I should get on that. I'll make a point to do that tomorrow. We don't get too many quakes in the UK. We had some, but it's not really a thing here. Yeah, I don't think it was. I never heard of that. Do I think Trump will win? I do, actually. I do think Trump's going to win because Biden is not, there's no real campaigning going on. And the country hasn't gotten any better since Trump. And that usually is not a good sign for an incumbent president. I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, but I feel like in my gut that Trump's probably going to win again. But honestly, I don't know that it would be much different if Biden won. It would obviously be different than a Trump presidency, but I don't think it'd be any different. Like, I don't think anything miraculous is going to change in America for the better if Biden wins. And if Biden wins, and then dies while he's in office, I have no confidence, zero confidence in Kamala Harris. So if Trump falls out of bed, he might cause further quakes. Oh, that's funny. Don't body shame people though, but it was funny. Liz, as an immigrant, it was the best place to live. I wasn't born here, and I'm very, very lucky to have a great life. Not here, but in beautiful Greece. No place is perfect, but no system is perfect. Absolutely. Hi, Fiona. Nice to join us. Thank you. And I like living in England too. Absolutely. Every place has its problems. Like the NHS definitely has improvements that are needed, and it definitely needs more funding and more training for their staff and all that kind of stuff. But it's better than it's better than a solely private, system, obviously. So you're autocorrect. The police force decide if someone is fit to own a firearm and for a particular reason, such as work, suitable license required, gun owners must lock up for security. Yeah, I mean, it's not like those laws don't exist in some areas in America. There's just no real check. Like after you have it, you're like, oh yeah, you're keeping it safe. Yeah, I'm keeping it safe. Okay, cool. And then there's no if there's a history of violence or abuse or anything like that or mental illness, there's no flags in a lot of states that say, oh, you have a history of mental abuse, maybe you shouldn't have a gun. Or you have a history of mental illness, you shouldn't have a gun. Maybe, what is the illness? What's the history? What are the details surrounding it? Are you sure you can handle this? Same thing with someone who, has a past of abuse or past of violence. Probably not a good candidate to have a semi-automatic weapon. I don't know why that's such a hard thing for people to understand, but for some reason it is. You get 6.5 weeks a year vacation? I thought I was killing it with my 4 weeks, dude. Now I want to move to Greece. I want to move to Greece anyway. We're actually planning a trip to Greece. I'm really excited. I've always wanted to go there. A lot of Americans are moving to the UK for security and safety. I'm not surprised. There's a lot more expats here than I thought there would be. Oh. I would not feel safe walking on the streets in America. 100. Give me 1 sec, guys. Hello, sorry. Something I had to take care of. So I'm gonna get better at this. I promise you guys, I'm gonna get better at this. Yeah, there are a lot of areas in America that I don't feel safe walking around in. There's areas in London where I'm kind of like, are we cool? Like, is this all right? Especially as an American, a lot of people think I'm a tourist, and might think I'm some kind of mark. So, I mean, I'm very vigilant and aware of that. But there's places like that everywhere. But you can literally get shot walking down the street or in your own neighborhood in America. And I know I'm laughing, and I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. It's like nerves and anxiety that gets pulled out from the trauma. Guns should be for the army only. I don't know that I agree with that 100%. Like I said, there's people that use it for sport and are responsible for it and things like that. But I don't think you should. I don't think you should have access to army grade weapons. Our police have access to army grade weapons. Some of our police forces have tanks. What do you need that for? What do you need that for? You gonna roll over American cities? No. What the hell are you? But it's about the manufacturers of the guns and the military grade weapons and all of that stuff making money, and they always mass produce and they have leftover, or they're selling the newest, latest, and greatest to the military, and then the military has to do something with the rest of their weapons and they sell them to the local police department. Anyways, yes, it is very emotional for me. I'm very sorry. It's such a downer. We're gonna end on something fun, I promise. Just give me a second and catch up with y'all. Exactly, Sam K. Some people shouldn't be let loose with a squirt gun. let alone a real gun. 100%. I've shot a gun in a controlled gun shooting range. Never shot a gun before. I grew up around guns. My dad was a veteran and handled guns all the time for memorials and things like that. I grew up hearing gunshots and things like that. I cried when I shot the gun because it was so powerful and it was so destructive of a paper target in front of me that I got overwhelmed. And I never want to pick up a gun again. I can shoot if I have to. I never want to pick it up again if I don't have to. Yeah, exactly. Crimes happen everywhere, and I'm aware of pickpocketing, and I'm aware of, being conned and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I'm an American, so even though I live here, doesn't mean that I'm not going to be a mark because people are going to assume I'm a tourist, right? It's okay though, because I I mean, I get it. Crime is, like I said, crime is everywhere, and everyone has to be a little bit vigilant and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't have to worry about my kid getting shot at school. Huge plus. If one of us gets sick, it's going to be taken care of. When I had my stomach infection, I went to the doctor. I went for a couple blood tests, all that kind of stuff, and I didn't have to pay a cent. And it was really weird. It was really, really weird. I still kind of like go through the mail expecting to get a bill, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up a bit here because we're hitting an hour. But let's end on something positive. Okay. April 20th, or the 20th of April if you're in the UK, is the YouTube channel's 1 year birthday. Can't believe it's been a year. It's so crazy. It's been a year. That would have been a year since I uploaded my very first video. So I would like to invite you all officially to our birthday party. We're going to have a special live stream on the 20th of April at 3 p.m. UK time. It's a Saturday. We're going to have a 2-hour stream. We are going to possibly, and these are some of the details that I was thinking. You guys let me know what you think. I'd like to talk about, yeah, I'm not going to talk about, obviously, I'm going to talk about something. That was so dumb. Thank God for editing. No, I was thinking of possibly doing it on location somewhere cool and somewhere different, so you guys don't have to just look at my white wall background forever. If you think of somewhere, but it has to work like lighting and sound wise and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, it can't be a place where there'd be like children that would be caught in the shot and things like that. Like we have to be respectful and careful of the strangers around us. But is that something that you'd be interested in? And if so, make sure that you leave some comments when this is posted as to where you think it would be cool. Also, I was going to do a live snack taste test of some British and English snacks that some of them that I've even tried before, but I haven't tried in a while, or some I've never tried before, and I would do it live for you guys and let you see what the reaction is going to be. So if that's something that you think is cool, then leave some suggestions in the comments below as well. And then lastly, I thought maybe we could do something that where you can challenge me, something that would be very, very British or English specifically, that is would be completely alien to an American, and you'd see me try it. For example, now you can't use this one because I'm giving it to you as an example. But I post videos coming out. A short video is coming out soon. When we saw the Maritime Dancers, and if you wanted to see me try the Maritime dancing, you can't use that one. That one's off the record now because I used it. I gave it to you. So, but if you have another suggestion of something you'd like to see me do or try, or a competition or something like that, something that is very, very, you know, unique and specific to English culture that we wouldn't have in America, or something that you just think is, it would just be really, really funny to see me tell or try, then I can do that as well. And then, of course, our discussions, our comments back and forth, and all of that stuff. Um, if you guys would want to join me, I hope you can. We'll still be doing the Tuesday live stream, but it'll just be a very special live stream, 2 hours. It's going to be sort of unformatted. It's going to be a little bit more just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. Um, and, it'll be a nice little birthday party celebration. I really want you guys to come if you can. So that will be the 20th of April at 3 p.m. Mark your calendars. I'm obviously going to keep making sure that people know about it. And hopefully, maybe we can get to 1,000 subscribers by then. Kind of a lofty goal, but it would be a really, really great birthday present for the channel. So maybe we'll see. If you share our videos, share the live stream, make sure you like everything, comment and all that stuff. Tell YouTube that you love this, you love me, I'm amazing, all that. No, really, the liking, the commenting, the sharing, and participating in all the live streams, it all helps. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's it for today. Appreciate you guys indulging me about talking about the healthcare and the gun situation in America. It is taxing to say the least, but I'm happy to talk about it because I don't want number one, I want people to understand what it's like in the US so they can help if any at all possible. And also, even if it's just helping individuals by listening to them and their issues and their problems, but also so that we don't see the UK fall into any of those bad habits too, because that would be really, really sad. I would be really upset. I appreciate you guys joining me. This Saturday at 6 p.m. UK time is the next vlog. It's English slang that I now use in my everyday life. Yeah, don't forget, if you're interested in membership, let me know. And if you can if you can, only if you can, if you can continue to show some support monetarily with a pound or two, I appreciate that as well. And hopefully we will get to 1,000 subscribers sooner than later, and we will be able to just go on with that. And maybe, I don't know if it's going to make any money, but I didn't think I would get this far, so we'll see what happens. Thank you guys all so much, and I hope you have a really good week, and I'll see you next week. And I'll talk to you in the comments and everything. Love y'all. Thanks again for joining me. Have a good night. Bye.